Good evening. I think, yes, 5:06 p.m. running just a tad late. It's Michelle Crone, naturopathic practitioner, and I've got a little program I want to talk to you about. If anyone wants to come in and have a quick chat, I'll be doing this for about probably 10 minutes at the most, and because tonight I have more postgraduate training in gut health with the beautiful Henry Butt, an amazing mentor that we have in our naturopathic profession to help support us with our future learning and just keeping abreast of everything. So what I wanted to talk to you tonight about is gut health and some of the steps that we take when we're looking at gut health and some of the people that have been supported with this sort of work in the past. So if you have any questions, just pop them in the comments. I may or may not be able to see them. It's hard sometimes on this little live on my phone to see the questions, so I'll come back in and answer them at the end. And it sometimes is a bit slow to update too. So I'm a naturopathic practitioner. You probably have seen me in here quite a bit. I've had a few days free over the last week or so, just getting programs ready in the background. And so I work with people who have tried a lot of different things. They've been to the chemist and they've bought the stuff off the shelf to help with their gut health, to help with bloating and things like that. And they want to have more support in terms of settling their digestive problems down, because they realize that their other problems, their other joint pains, their aches, their headaches, their foggy brain, their moods, their mood swings, potentially their mental health issues, their anxiety are all related and relatable back to the way their gut health is working. So I work with people who've had that moment. They've had that, actually maybe it is not just that pill I have to take to suppress that, or maybe it is more than just taking a tablet that I think is going to be right because everyone says it is in that Facebook forum. What the people that come into me to help with their gut health come in with are things like pain, bloating, they have hormonal difficulties, they have weight gain or weight loss, they have something's not right with them and they just don't know what it is, but they do know that they've had digestive disturbances or pain in the gut, or dare I say it, loose bowels, or constipation, and maybe just maybe they've seen something like this. The Bristol Stool Scale chart makes a good cake, actually, if you do it with some ingredients. And so maybe they've had, bowel movements down this end of the woods which aren't quite happy, or they've had quite tight constipation type problems, or maybe they've had a bit of both. In the middle is quite good, 4 and 5. Won't go into that a lot tonight because that's part of the program that I'm talking about. So you may find that you've got issues with your bowels and or the penny drops, that might be why your pimples are becoming, you're getting more acne, or you're getting joint aches and pains, or you've got that funny taste in your mouth and you just can't get rid of it, or you're belching and you've got gastric acid reflux. All these problems are related back to gut health. I see people who've been overseas, they've got Bali belly or Delhi belly or whatever belly they've been to, whatever country they've been to, they've come back with gut pains because we're just not able to have the appropriate flora in our gut. In some countries, the bugs are different. Everyone has different bacteria in their gut. So part of the problem that I help people, or part of the solution that I help people with, is I design a program that I've designed over 20 years, or it's a program I've been using over 20 years as a targeted approach to help people work out what is individually right for them. So the people that come in often say, what probiotic can I use? And I say, well, what problems do you have? What are your symptoms? How are you presenting? And it's not a one size fits all. It's actually certainly not a one size fits all. In fact, a one size fits all is actually quite dangerous, because you might be feeding some of the flora the bugs that shouldn't be in there. A lot of bugs, bacteria in the gut, ferment and cause acid, and some of the acids are lactic acid. So there's certain foods and probiotics that actually feed and fuel that. There's certain prebiotics that also feed and fuel that too. So, you know, some of the fermented foods aren't quite right for someone who's got intestinal bacterial overgrowth, that causing some of these symptoms. So it's really important that you work with the right strain of probiotic at the right time, which is why this program has worked so well. It's very simple, and it's got 3 basic steps that support your gut health. And so there are very simple steps to follow. You get a meal plan, you get menu plans over 7 to 14 days, and we can extend that. Some of the programs people go on, I only need to see them once or twice, and they do their thing and they touch base and they see where they're at, and we tweak their diet a little, and we provide them with the information that helps them make little subtle changes in their diet without making huge, massive changes that upset the apple cart, and you know, they can't keep going with it. So can you imagine, those of you who do have problems with your digestive system, that you've now linked that it could be partly to do with your other symptoms like your joint pain? Can you imagine being free of these types of problems? And can you imagine not having, maybe, it's been one of the ones I wanted to talk about, Darren, but possibly. Thank you if you have. Can you imagine what it would be like without getting moody and irritable after you've eaten certain foods? Can you imagine what it would be like if you could go out to a restaurant and choose the foods that everyone else chooses? Can you imagine what it would be like if you were going away and you didn't have to pack the car full of eskies full of the foods that only you can eat, because no one else or the rest of the family can eat general stuff? Can you imagine what it would be like to not have bloating after you've eaten certain meals, and not be can you imagine what it would be like to not be so gassy every day? All of these things are related to gut flora and the overgrowth of dysbiotic or bad bacteria. And so when you can imagine, if you can't imagine what it would be like without those sorts of things, without a healthy sleep, without headaches, without chronic pain, without multitude of tablets in your cupboard that do something at some stage and you're not even sure if they're in date anymore. All of these things are what we go through when we work with this simple 3-step program. It's just a delight to see the change in people, and you know, and make changes longer term. So with the program I've developed, I'm just reading now because I'm wanting to make sure I get all the steps in for you. We have 4 major areas that we focus on with the gut program, or the healthy gut program. We want to increase the short chain fatty acids in your gut that help to keep the intestinal tract healthy. We want to increase the good bacteria that naturally grows in the gut. We want to displace the pathogens that are on the scale of not so great. So we want to balance that out and maybe make it a little bit less. We still need some of the flora in the gut that isn't perfect and isn't, you know, not everyone's. We need a little bit of a balance, but we need a little bit more of the good than the bad, just like everything. And we also need things that help to reduce the pain initially when we're trying to get things back into balance. So the simple 3-step program is very easy to implement. You get, as I said, you get menu plans, You get assistance from your naturopathic practitioners who've been through these programs with thousands of people. And you get targeted nutritional and genetic targeted nutrients that help support you and not just a protocol. So it is pretty challenging when we don't have access. In the past, we haven't had access to these sorts of targeted programs, but now we do. And hey, hallelujah. So if you can imagine a life free of pain in the gut, if you can imagine a life free of pain, of headaches, if you would like all of these things, like better sleep, like better energy, like less getting mad with the kids if they're not doing the right thing, if you'd like to be more balanced in life in general, think about your gut health. The gut is the center of all disease and all disorders, and the little program we've got for you is just a joy to watch people go through. It can be tricky at the start, but it gets better. So if you're committed to making these changes in your health, and you're committed to seeing a life free of chronic dis-ease, and you really want to make a start and clean up your system, then we need to clean up the gut. So the gut is a part of all of these problems, and the more and more microbiome science that comes out, the more and more I just thank goodness for science, because it's brought us to this point where we're now so aware of what's going on internally and externally, that we've come to a place where we can actually really make lives better. So if you want to work with us, I work with Phoenix Rising FX, an amazing team of research-based, evidence-based practitioners. And if you want to, and if you even just want a quick chat with one of us, just pop a little poo emoji in the comments, and even if you're watching the live back, I'll see them. So just say poo or boo if you don't want to say poo. Be great to work with you, even great to chat with you. I'm happy to set up a 15-minute chat, no problems. Just drop us a little emoji and or PM. All right, so I've got to go because I've got a short break before I hop on to another awesome seminar workshop that we constantly go through to learn more about your gut and your microbiome in your gut. So I'll bring and share some of that information in shortly, or in the next few days. All right, have a good Monday, and we will catch you on the flip side. Just drop your little emojis in if you want to chat, and you can also go to Phoenix Rising FX page and see some of the programs in there. At the moment, there's a lot of immune support in there, which covers the gut anyway, but just let us know if you want something else that's bothering you. Okay, see ya.